day.
Uh-oh.
Do this.
I know, right?
Technology. All right. So since maybe some of your people don't know who I am, I'll introduce myself. I'm Dana Becker, and I'm the co-founder of Ova Moon. I'm also a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist. And Ova Moon is a menstrual balancing supplement that me and my best friend Ariel designed to really give a menstruating body all the vitamins and minerals it needs to function well on a real baseline level. Um, and I'll just say that today I'm on day 2 of my cycle. I'm menstruating, and I just want to share that since every phase has a little bit of a different flavor. And today I might be more like mellow, maybe forgetful, and I just really want to like normalize that we're different in every phase of our cycle. And you can stay tuned to some of our other lives to understand like more about what that means. And for our followers, I'll introduce Marni. She's been my friend since kindergarten, and we got in a lot of trouble for laughing back in the day. And we went to school together all the way through college, and did a yoga teacher training together. And right now, Marni is teaching yoga, and she's a food educator in New York City. And she has been spending a lot of time in her kitchen making sourdough bread and herbal infusions during this quarantine. And so today we're coming together to talk about herbal medicine and food as medicine. So maybe as we're starting, maybe you could share what phase of your cycle you're in.
Yeah. I think I'm day 14, so I'm ovulating, and I'm feeling more energized and just like good overall. Like a little, yeah. That if this is the time that feels good, I think starting next week I'll start to slow down and like wrap things up and get ready for my period.
Awesome. So, you were sharing with me a little bit about how you're just like incorporating more herbs into your diet, and I think there's a lot of people out there that like love the idea of herbs, but maybe like don't know where to start. And so, thought maybe you could share like how you're incorporating some herbs in your diet right now.
Yeah, so my favorite herbal infusion to make that I make every single night, almost every single night. Sometimes I forget and I'm like, that's fine because I need a break. But I'll put nettles, raspberry leaf, which I feel like I got the idea from you like a while ago. um, goji berries, and then there was another berry that I can't remember the name, and dulse flakes. And I love having that in the morning, and it just makes me feel so good for the day and very nutrient rich. My hair is growing like crazy because of it, and I just love it.
Do you want to share maybe like what an herbal infusion is, how one would make an infusion?
Yeah, so I have these huge ball jars. They're like literally this big, and you put the herbs in them. You boil water. You pour the water over the herbs, cover it. I like to cover it overnight, but if I don't have enough time, at least for an hour. And that's it. And then I have a strainer, like a little tea strainer that I strain it with. And yeah, it's great. I made this one. I have one here for
Nice.
for a talk that I just made in my French press.
Nice. And like, what is how much herbs, like if you're doing it in a big jar, like how high up the jar do you fill it with herbs?
I actually only put a little bit at the bottom, like that much. So maybe it fills like in half inch or an inch at the bottom in a layer. Um, but maybe I'll make it more concentrated and add more, and then I'll just add more water to it the next day.
Awesome. Yeah, I love this idea. I've really been into oat straw. For anyone who's in California, you're probably noticing it's growing everywhere.
Oat straw in here.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's just full of vitamins and minerals. It really calms the whole nervous system. It's like got a lot of calcium and the B vitamins, iron, phosphorus, magnesium. Um, it's probably like a part of why your hair is growing really fast. Um, it has amino acids in it, and it's really good for cramps and bloating too. So it's a nice one. Like, um, yeah, if you don't want to go out and harvest it right now, you can order some online and making infusions with it. And I think it's one of those herbs, sort of like the red raspberry leaf, where you're wanting to have it like every day for the compounded effects. Like, it's not really like going to provide symptomatic relief. Like, if you're like, oh, I'm cramping and bloated, like, I'm going to take this, it's not really going to
Right.
make it go away.
Yeah, for that, if I'm like really not feeling well, I find ginger helps the best with like for symptomatic relief.
Yeah, ginger is a really great one for reducing cramping. I love that. Also, cramp bark. Have you ever made?
Yes, I have tried it in a tincture form, but I haven't made an infusion out of it. But maybe I should.
Yeah, so something I'll just say about the barks and like root herbs. Sometimes they're really great if you boil them first.
Mm,
So you can do sort of like a double infusion where you're like boiling some herbs and then like pouring that boiled mixture, and you can keep the herbs in there with like the more leafy, fragile, like flower type herbs, because um, the leaves and flowers you're not really going to want to boil. It can kind of
right.
be destructive. And something that's really great about the infusion that like maybe some people don't know, like if you just use a tea bag and you make tea, there's a lot of like really great oils that will just evaporate if you don't cover your tea when you're making it. And so um, just yeah, something for people to know if you want to make a tea and like really get all the benefits of the herbs in there, to yeah, put a plate or like something on top of it while you're steeping it, so that the oils they'll evaporate, but then they'll drop right back in your cup, and you can get all
That's
those
so
benefits.
cool. I kind of intuitively thought that, but I didn't know that. But I always make like even in the French press, covering it up instead of just leaving it felt like the right thing to do, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, I think our bodies like they really know like what we need and what we don't need, and like in terms of like which herbs to pick. Um, there's so many out there, and I
Yeah,
think what's really great is just to like pick like five and get to know them. And um, so many of these herbs, they like, you know, like nettles or oat straw, they're just like filled with so many nutrients. Like you don't need to have like an apothecary of like 30 different things and figure out like which one you need. A lot of the ones like that grow near you in your backyard around, they're just gonna be the best ones. It's yeah, it's super interesting. I've met so many people who have like this same story of like the herbs that were growing outside, they like looked up what was happening, and it was like related to like either one of their health issues or the health issues of like someone in their house. Um and that's not as accessible in this city living.
I know. I was gonna say there might be some nettles growing, but I might not want to pick those.
Yeah, they might be filled with some pollution. But yeah, just really like whatever you're feeling called to, and like using your intuition to figure out which herbs you want to play with and incorporate into your diet.
Yeah, and in the this one that I have is hibiscus and rose, oat straw, and then I put some elderflower in it because I bought that at the beginning of the quarantine to kind of help, like elderberries and elderflower, to help with the virus. And I just love the hibiscus in the afternoon because I always crave cookies and it stops me from eating cookies.
Nice. Yeah, hibiscus is great. It's antioxidant. It's filled with a lot of vitamin C, um, which is really great for your immunity. So it sounds like you have a really good immune boosting infusion there. And the one thing I'll say about hibiscus, if people watching are on birth control, because it's a phytoestrogen, um, if you're on a estrogen based birth control, you're not going to want to have that every day. An occasional cup's going to be okay, but it could impact the effectiveness of your birth control, which you don't want to do.
So if people aren't on birth control, does it have any effect?
um, it's basically like your body like sort of knows what to do with the phytoestrogens, but if you're taking like extra estrogen in the system, it's just
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a little hard on the body. And like um I'm not exactly sure like the mechanisms of how it works, but just wanted to make sure people are mindful out there. You don't want any hibiscus induced pregnancy.
Oh my gosh, I love that. What about the another herb I really like is lemon balm, which actually does grow in my garden.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. It's like it kind of grows like a weed. Once you grow it, it just like wants to keep growing. It's like a mint. It's in the mint family actually, and it sort of does that mint thing where it just wants to spread its vines. And it's really good for reducing stress and anxiety. It smells lemony, and it's also great if you're having sleep troubles, as a tea in the evening. Um, it's also filled with vitamin C and B1. Um,
Cool.
yeah, so vitamin C is like great for immunity right now. I'll also go back to the elderflower because in Chinese medicine, we really like to think about herbs, like thinking about how they grow and what they look like. And if anyone's ever seen elderflower, like the way it grows and the way that it little like branches off, it's kind of like resemblant of like the way the lungs look if you look at like interior pictures of like the bronchioles. And um it's really good for respiratory issues, and it's in bloom right now. In the next just made a fusion with it. I poured hot water mixed with honey over it and left it for like 4 days and then strained it. And so now it's like a syrup that I can add like to sweeten any tea, or you can put it with sparkling water for like a
Wow.
sort of like natural soda. And it is so yummy.
I'm gonna make that like right now. It sounds so good.
Yeah, and if you don't have it near you, you can also like order the dried flowers
Yeah.
online and do the same
I
thing.
have a little jar of it that there's a herb shop right by me and they get a lot of local stuff, so it feels good about it, but sometimes I'll just go like online and order it in bulk.
Awesome. And I want to do a plug for nettles because uh, their season. I think you still might be able to harvest some fresh and dry them if you want, but they're really easy to find. I think they even make them in tea bags already at the store, which is nice. It's delicious, and it's like has vitamin A, C, K, the B vitamins, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and like all these fats and amino acids. And so it's just like all the vitamins and minerals that you might not be getting in your diet. And so it's just a great like supplement. It is a diuretic, so it's like sort of the same thing as like coffee or um, a green tea. So you're wanting gonna want to drink some like extra water if you're drinking teas that are really flushing everything out. So it's great because it's cleansing, helps get everything you don't want out of you, but um, also takes some of that water out that you need.
Yeah, that's why I started drinking them, was to get like all the vitamins and minerals that I might not have been getting. But I'm glad you told me that, because I would literally just drink it all morning and like as my water. So now I know to also have water on top of it, which is helpful. Maybe I was a little dehydrated before. Um, but it does feel so good to drink all of the vitamins and minerals, in addition to maybe taking Ovamoon.
Yeah, I can just do a little plug for that. So, um, yeah, Ovamoon, I think like why it's really great, especially in these times where we're trying to like make sure we get everything and keep our immunity um, boosted, is like the body has certain functions and it needs certain vitamins and minerals to do those functions. And we're just at a time where like a lot of the food we get is it's been in the grocery store for a while, and like unless you're really like picking things fresh out of the garden, they get a little nutrient depleted, and then as we cook things, it like definitely makes them more uh, like digestible, and like our bodies are more able to absorb the nutrients, but it also sort of cooks out some of the nutrients. And so I know for me, I was like eating organic and like eating so many healthy vegetables, um, and still just like I wasn't able to get everything I needed. I think like I probably would have had to be eating all day to do that or something. And so we created this supplement to help people who are having menstrual pain. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. And I just noticed immediately I had like more energy and like my nails were growing stronger and faster. And so it's just amazing, like all these things like hair growth, nail growth, they really get put on the back burner in terms
Yeah.
of like the order of operations of what our body is using vitamins and minerals to function. It's like your brain has to function, like your heart has to function. So these functions are really like using up the vitamins and minerals first. And then it's like the regeneration of cells, like that's like bottom of the list. And that's like also really important. So like really like taking the vitamin and then also like getting all these herbs on top of it, it's just really gonna like boost your system and give it a chance to like heal itself, because our bodies, they know how to do that. They just a lot of times don't have like the tools they need. They're like, wait, I just need a little more magnesium to do that. Like, and it's just not going to happen without that magnesium.
Yeah, and the point that you said, it's not really going to happen with the foods we're eating because they're not fresh, sadly, but true. Also, that made me think about the soil. Like, we need the health from the soil in our bodies, and it just is, the food we're getting is like too clean.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, I'm sure like there's some really great small farms that are doing like cover crops and really replenishing the soil.
Yeah.
But that's like, that, I wouldn't say that's like a standard
Oh,
everywhere.
no.
We really don't.
It's like the small amount are doing that, and if you find it, it's a gem, but most of the stuff is not.
Yeah, so it's kind of a bummer, and I think like a lot of people in this moment in time are really trying to advocate for better practices and like thinking of different ways to like manage water and soil. But sort of like while we're in this in between phase, it's really important to be really thoughtful and
Mm-hmm.
know that like yeah, you might not be getting everything you need, um, and that like we have a lot of really great herbal allies
To help
to help us out. Yeah.
us along the way.
Mm-hmm.
um, Another thing I've been doing, well, that you mentioned at the beginning, the sourdough bread, and that was actually something I avoided for a long time, was eating bread in general, as you know. And I when I started to learn about how like wheat and grains actually do have a lot of vitamins and minerals in them, and sourdough bread enhances it. I don't know that much about the science behind it, but it has been really great for me and for my body. So I just want to bring that up also. And I don't know if you've seen the same thing.
I mean, I love fresh bread. I haven't made it in a long time. I tried to do the sourdough starter thing, and then I went on vacation and I came back and my pantry smelled so bad. My roommate wouldn't let me try again.
Yeah, definitely if you go out of town, leave it in your fridge.
Um, yeah, are you like grinding the grains yourself, or are you just buying like
No,
flour and adding that, or
yeah,
what's your process?
so I would like my future might be in grinding my own grains, but we'll see what I can get. Right now, I can get really great flour from the farmers market in New York City, and it's all New York grown heritage grains, which is like a dream come true, and it's amazing. But yeah, in the future, I might have to grind my own grains if I can't find the flour. Plus, it's so fresh. So I make a rye starter, and then I use this like really great fine ground flour for it.
Yeah, I love bread, and something that I learned a few years ago, that I just wanted to share is like a lot of people are sort of like afraid of like bread and things that are just like carbs, because we're told they turn to sugar really quickly. And something to know is just like putting fats with the bread, it slows down that process in your body, so your body can actually use it for fuel. So things like olive oil or butter, the fats
I
mixed
love
with the
that.
yeah.
Like
Like,
that's my
put butter on your
favorite
bread.
thing in the morning. Like fresh sourdough bread with good butter or olive oil is so good. Cool.
Yeah, it's really important to be eating fats in your diet. It like helps give the skin a glow. It becomes even more important in your menstrual phase, which I'm in. So, got to get all that oil. And yeah, the essential fatty acids, they're really good at reducing inflammation in the body. And I think a lot of us are like chronically inflamed right now, just with all the toxins around us. It's really hard not to be. And so just making sure we're getting the omega 3s in our diet. And yeah, there's a lot of information online. You can figure out like what oils you're using and what their ratio of omega 3s to 6s and 9s are. And yeah, the omega 3s, they help with the brain function, and then they're going to reduce inflammation. So um, making sure you're getting them in your diet. And then, yeah, not to mention, they just make your skin look really glowing and beautiful when you're getting enough. And it's something to think about. Like a lot of people, when they have dry skin, they really focus on like, what can I put on the outside?
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of skin health is like the inside. And some people will be like, oh, well, I hydrate, I drink a lot of water. And actually, you are going to want to get a lot of oils. To bring hydration to the skin as well.
I like that. And do you take a vitamin too, an omega 3
I do
supplement?
take an omega 3 just because yeah, really want to make sure I'm getting that in my body and supporting my body. I try to eat fish a couple of times a week and like put extra olive oil on salads or toast or anything I'm eating. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I went to an
I take it when I
Ayurvedic
remember.
practice. What do you do? What were you saying?
Oh, I just said I take it when I remember.
Yeah, I keep everything like on my bathroom counter just so I remember to take it every day. It's yeah, it's hard to remember unless you're like really seeing it. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
totally.
noticed an impact in my cycle for sure. I noticed, yeah, I think there was like, I went out of town and like I came back. And so there was a week where I was sort of in that like trying to get settled back at home and I didn't take it. And yeah, I can tell my cycle's a little bit different this month, like a little bit more crampy than usual. And I'm like, okay, gotta remember to take everything.
I like that. That's a good reminder, the fats, because it's so simple. And like there's no reason to be afraid of it.
Yeah, and you really can't overdo it. Like a lot of the capsules are pretty like small in the amount they have, and especially like if anyone's experiencing any joint pain, you can take up to 2,000 milligrams of something like fish oil and like
Mm-hmm.
really reduce the inflammation in your joints, and it's really going to help with pain.
I want to go take it right now.
Do you want to share? Are you like incorporating any herbs into like foods you're making? I know, like, um, for me, I went to visit the herbal school up in Sonoma County, and I remember them just sharing like how things like adding like rosemary and parsley and like all these herbs, they're just so nutrient dense and like have all these different flavors and like yeah, just the way that they really like up level all the foods you're eating in terms of how
Yeah.
they're helping your body.
I mean, 100%. I'd say in the winter here, like we're just coming out of winter, so my garden is just getting started. But the first thing that I start to grow are herbs. And that's like the most important thing to me are growing the herbs because when you buy them at the store, this bothers me. When I buy them at the store, it comes in a big bunch and I can use it right away and make like a salsa verde and like be really happy, but I like to just pick a little bit each day and add them into my food. It like transforms everything. So as much as I can in the summer, for sure. In the winter, I buy it, but it's not as good. But if you have space or in a window or anywhere to grow anything, I always say to grow herbs first.
Yeah, it's so great. They like totally like add so much more flavor to salads and um, like really bring to life like all the
Yeah.
things that we're
You just
eating.
like all you have to do is sprinkle a little bit on top and it's so good. I mean, I love cilantro. I know some people don't like it, but cilantro, basil, parsley in a salsa verde is like my favorite thing.
Yeah, I've been really into making pestos too, with like all different things. Like sometimes I'll do like half arugula, half cilantro or something, and
Yum.
um,
Yeah.
just like put it on like anything I'm eating, putting it on toast or spaghetti squash is like one of my
Right.
favorites. Um,
And it doesn't last that long, but it doesn't matter because you'll eat it in like 2 meals.
yeah, it's so good.
Or like I'll mix Swiss chard in it or spinach just to like spread the herb flavor out and get more vitamins in the whole thing.
Yeah, it's such a great way to get herbs. And if you're not a cheese eater like our house, I put in nutritional yeast and it sort of like gives it that flavor and use walnuts, which are a little bit more creamy. And so you can really get it to taste like really good Italian pesto. um, and yeah, another way I've been liking getting herbs in the diet is with popcorn. I'll like sprinkle the dulse or like grind up some nettles so it's like a powder and sort of have like a mix of that with salt and it yeah, it doesn't really like like it doesn't like make it taste weird. It just like adds sort of like salty flavors to it, and it's a really yummy way. Like if you're wanting a healthy snack, to make some popcorn and like do the like nutritional yeast and salt and some nettles and some dulse on it. So yummy.
That sounds so good. I'm gonna come over
Yeah, you might have to drive.
when we can. You can make it for me.
I'd love to. Um, do you want to share with people? I know you've been posting a lot of food stuff, how people can um, follow you and all the recipes and things you're cooking to help people who are stuck at home and don't know what to cook these days.
Yes, this is definitely the year to learn how to cook. You can follow me at Yoga Marn, and I started a food Instagram called Cook More, Stress Less. So you can follow me there too. I have a website, marnimendelsohn.com. There's not much information on there, but you can contact me there, and also cookmorestressless.com, where I have recipes and blog, and I'll be updating that more frequently.
And are you teaching yoga online at the moment?
Um, yes, I'm doing periodic classes on Zoom. So if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get all the info about that. And you can do that just on my Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and same for anyone who's not familiar. Ovamoon.com is where you can find more information about the supplement and what we're doing. And yeah, we're a supplement with vitamins, minerals, and herbs. So we have herbs like dong quai, shatavari, vitex, ginger, and dong quai maybe isn't something you're going to want to make a tea with. It's not the most tasty herb. It's a Chinese herb that's really good for like building the blood and supporting the menstrual cycle. Um, Shatavari is it's used a little bit in Chinese medicine, but I would say it's like a really strong Ayurvedic herb that's an adaptogenic herb. So it's one of those herbs like if you're really stressed, it's going to calm your nervous system. If you're feeling sort of like low and depressed, it's going to help lift you up. And I think you mentioned Shazandra berry earlier.
Yes.
That's also another adaptogenic herb. And so these are really going to increase our resistance to disease and stress. So it's good to find some kind of adaptogen that you like, especially in these times. Um, Vitex is a really more used in Western medicine. It's also used in Chinese medicine, although we sort of use it for when you have a cold. Um, but
I
it's
have
really
a lot of it. I have like a big jar. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it's a really great herb for balancing the cycle. If your cycle's irregular at all, if you used to take birth control and you're coming off of it, it really supports healthy progesterone levels.
Mm.
But it's really good if you're thinking about taking um, strong herbs like Vitex or Dongguai to be in touch with a health practitioner, someone who knows the herbs, just because um, these herbs are a lot stronger than something like ginger or nettle, which are things that are like great to like just pick up at the store and um, dose yourself.
Yeah.
And the amounts we have them, they're going to be helpful, but not like too much for any one person's system to handle. So check us out at ovamoon.com. Right now we have a special, the Stay Healthy special for these times. If you want $10 off your first 3 bottles, just write in all caps Stay Healthy in the code section. You can get that discount. And yeah, if you have any questions, we have a contact page on our website. So yeah, it was so good to see you and chat herbs with
Oh,
you. And I just feel like there's so much to say. I feel like I want to do this again and like tell everyone about like the different herbs and the different parts of your cycle and like really get
Yeah,
specific. But for now, just play around and have fun and like figure out which herbs are your own personal allies.
I love that. Thanks, Dana. That was so fun.
I know. I'm so glad we got to do this. All right. Okay, everyone, I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. And yeah, follow Marnie. She's awesome. See you later.
Bye.
Oh, and if you tune in tomorrow, we will be on Double Blind on their Instagram account doing a talk about psychedelics and the menstrual cycle.
Cool.
So tune in. Okay,
Cool.
bye.
Bye.